Welcome to a new episode of First Sip, then SAP, the Amista podcast, where we dive into the fascinating world of SAP. In this series, we'll explore the latest innovation, answer common questions from our client, so you'll have the answers too, and share real use cases that bring SAP to life. But I won't be doing this alone. I'll be joined by colleagues, clients, and industry experts to bring you valuable insights. In today's episode, we have an industry veteran in the podcast with over 25 years of experience in ERP systems. We'll talk about the main topics in the ERP world, like on-premise versus cloud, standard versus customization, and of course, AI. My name is Koen Sandrink, Business Development Manager at Amista, and your host for today. So let's take a sip and then get started. So, our guest today is Johan Mine, a seasoned ERP expert with extensive experience across pre-sales, cloud strategy and business transformation. Johan has seen the evolution of ERP firsthand and has helped countless companies to transition into the cloud age with confidence and vision. So, welcome.
Thank you, Koen, for having me.
It's your first podcast?
Indeed, so a little bit nervous for doing this one.
Yeah, but it's actually the same as giving a presentation. Okay. A little bit different, of course. But there you also have a microphone often. Okay. And I think you give a lot of presentations. Yeah, you've done that a lot. Okay, Johan. So tell me, what are the headlines of your career?
Now I would say, indeed, I'm like 25 years in the ERP business now. And if I would say a red wire across those 25 years is, and where I get a lot of energy from, is putting new kind of ERP solutions into the market. And like you said, the ERP market is evolved. So I've done quite some introductions of new solutions into a market, and mainly in the segment of small and medium enterprises.
Okay, is it also at SAP or did you work also at other ERP companies?
So at this moment, I'm heading up European team of Cloud ERP specialists that are promoting the SaaS Cloud ERP solution of SAP to partners, to customers, and also internally, because as you know, SAP is more than 50 years market leader in ERP. We were always an on-premise company, so also we had to make the shift from a pure on-premise company to a cloud company, which is also a challenge for us, by the way. But really, when I was intrigued by ERP world, was already since the beginning in my studies, commercial engineering. Yeah. And a very good professor, he explained to me the concept like MRP2, which was the predecessor of the real ERP system. And I was so intrigued that I want to make my thesis about it. I had the chance to have a case study at the implementation of SAP at AB InBev at that moment. And then I decided, like, yeah, my dream is working for that German company, SAP, biggest ERP vendor. But you can realize it doesn't go from one day to another immediately after your studies. So I started at a company, Baan, Dutch company, at that moment, biggest competitor of SAP, now known as Infor. So there was a logistics pre-sales consultant. And then luckily, after a couple of years, SAP reached out to me to build up a new market for SAP, which was a small and medium enterprise market, because as you know, SAP is and still known as only for bigger companies, but it is completely not. And I was lucky to build that business with a small and medium enterprise. And also there, I came in contact with launching SAP Business One into the Belgian market.
Okay. And when was that in time?
It was like the beginning of 2000, 2003, 2004, something like that. Yeah. So, yeah. And now, I mean, I'm still happy that I'm with SAP. And the next 10 years of my career, I'm really excited. And I think we talk later about that. It's like now with the new innovation of AI, there is really something new now. So I'm really, really happy that I can take part. And I think it will be the most interesting part of my journey of my career.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Okay, but first, before we head into that, let's start from the beginning. You're a veteran, like you just explained. what is the biggest shift you observed during your career?
Okay, so indeed, since ERP is still, I mean, the main system since beginning of the 90s when it started all, to make companies just more efficient by integrating the different departments with one integrated solution.
And automated processes.
Automated processes, one database, and so on. So that's still the definition of ERP, but you had it in different flavors. And I think in the beginning, when I started, and the most vendors did, that was the idea that, okay, let's take one big box and we stuff everything in it. And I mean then all the functionalities for all the different departments, all the industry-specific solutions, all the developments that companies were making, because at that time you saw a lot of specific developments for certain companies. They think they are special and they start developing a lot, putting it in one box, which is then a monolithic system.
Yeah, exactly. The big monolithic systems.
Yeah, and the disadvantage is that it becomes very complex at that moment, and that's also why maybe ERP still has like an image of being expensive, complex, and so on. But the main reason was that it was one monolithic block, hard to upgrade, hard to maintain. So that was, I think, the first versions of SAP and ERP that you saw in the market.
And it was still which version of SAP? R2, R3, ECC?
At that moment it was R3. I started with R3, it moved into ECC later on. But it was still a kind of on-premise monolithic solution, and it's only the latest years that we now are moving more to the cloud, but we come later to that.
Okay, then now SAP has positioned the Business Suite, which is also an integrated part of solutions. That's also not a new name, because if I'm correct, in 2010, around that time, you also had the business. What's the difference?
Yeah, okay. So indeed, so after the monolithic part, you had the trend of going to what we called at that moment best-of-breed solutions, and you saw a lot of specific solutions for different departments: customer relationship management, CRM, HR, supply chain management, new companies rising. And a customer could pick and choose the best solution for each department. But again, the complexity at that moment came from you have to still integrate back to your ERP, and in between those different systems, best-of-breed system with different data models and so on. Now, the big shift that we are making now as SAP, and we call it now Suite as a Service, which is kind of a new term, is we bought quite a lot of dedicated best-of-breed solutions like already 10 years ago. We're bringing them now together. We make sure that they are completely integrated out of the box, and so that the customer don't have to worry about the complexity of integrating. But we have now the different line of business solutions specific for the CFO, for the sales manager, for the production manager, but completely tied together as one suite as a service, a cloud solution where we take care of the complexity behind.
Yeah, okay. What are the biggest misconceptions about SAP?
Like I said, I mean, and we started already, like in the beginning of my career was starting up the small and medium enterprise business. And at that moment it was a new business for SAP, because we started with the big companies and we are still doing big companies. But people don't realize that 80% of our customer base
80%
are small and medium enterprise. I think it's the best kept secret in the IT world. And also the disadvantage is a lot of people work with SAP. And sometimes people, you hear the horror stories like the implementation failed, it is very complex to work with, and so on. So we have a little bit of an image of being complex. But I like that challenge. If people say to me, okay, SAP is complex, it's not for SME, I like really that challenge to prove with proof points at 80%, showing SAP now how we evolved, all the references that we have. We have Business One, we have the Cloud ERP S4. So we have really the solutions for the small and medium enterprises.
Okay, I think that's good to highlight also, because a large part of our audience are the small and medium enterprises. One of the biggest transitions, I think, also during the years, the monolithic systems, but also from on-premise to cloud. That's also a big shift. There are still some companies that look a little bit suspicious to cloud. It costs me a lot of more money, etc., etc. What's your vision on it?
I would say immediately to a customer, if you're still now on-premise, don't wait to move to the cloud.
Okay.
And it's not just because of the technology, completely not, but it's because you can benefit from all the innovations that software vendors are bringing. So we as SAP, we have every 6 months also a completely new release. You do the upgrades automatically, and you can really benefit from the innovations we are bringing. In the past, you had like on-premise customers running 5-10 years on the older version, paying maintenance, but they didn't get anything out because they didn't adapt the innovations. And if you don't adapt the innovations, certainly now at this time, I think you get behind of your competition. So to stay competitive, you have to make sure that you follow these innovations, because if your competitor is doing, they will go faster than you are.
Yeah. Well, what changed in the years? I mean, ERP system, they're basically your basic processes, important for a company, don't get me wrong, but they're quite standard and they are also stable. I mean, financing, it doesn't change very much. Production, it doesn't change very much. Maybe you have some improvements. But why is it then important to upgrade your ERP system to the latest systems in the last 10 years, let's say?
But I think functionalities also improve. And certainly, and I come back to that later when we talk about AI. Now with AI, I think there is a big shift. If you are not in the cloud now, you will probably miss all these innovations coming out of the box, baked into your business processes. And for me, that is certainly one of the main reasons going into the cloud. And also going into the cloud is reducing the complexity that I was talking. You don't take care about, or you shouldn't take care about all the integrations, stick to the standard. Those kind of things will reduce your total cost of ownership also if you move to the cloud.
Okay. Then, we'll move to the cloud.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of CIOs, CFOs have to first sip a coffee before they want to move, because it's basically an open heart surgery you're going to do. So cloud is the way to go. But first I want to talk about customizations, because in the on-premise world, every company was basically unique. One of the key strengths of SAP was that it was customizable. That's also why it is a big success. But in the cloud, that is still possible, but in a different way. What's your vision? And that's also a large threshold for companies to start on that journey. What's your vision on how companies should move to the cloud?
So I think it's one of the biggest misconceptions about the cloud ERP and using best practices. I think some people think, okay, I have to go best practices. I cannot change anything anymore. I cannot make it specific to my company. I cannot differentiate anymore. That's completely not true. You can still do tweaking your system. You can still do development, customizations, but in a more efficient, cost-effective way, not in the core itself from the ERP. So that changed from the past. In the past, you developed hard-coded into the ERP itself. What you see in the cloud world is that you stick to the core processes, best practices, that you don't develop there a lot. But if you need something that really differentiates you from your competitor, or it brings added value to your company, then my advice would be, yes, develop. But do it not in the core, but do it on a platform. And within SAP is the SAP Business Technology platform, where you can develop low-code also things, or really develop specific industry, specific solutions, or specific for your company, where you really differentiate yourself or where there comes out value. And when you do then an upgrade, your core is clean. The upgrade goes automatically. And also if you develop in the right way, there will be no break also in the integration between what you have developed and what is the core ERP system.
What is the core? I mean, they always talk about the core, but how do you, what
the
is
core
it?
For me, the core are the business processes where you don't make the differentiation. Running your accounting system, doing purchase orders, doing a sales order. Most of the time, that's quite standard to every company. And I think you have to stick to that standard, because there you will not differentiate. So that's for me the core. And then the differentiation, specific things for your company, like I said, you can still build next to your ERP system.
Yeah, but still a lot of people are used to work in a certain way. They think that they are unique in the things you're just mentioning, because give a reason. So it's also about people.
Yeah.
People have to change.
Yeah.
How does SAP support that? Or is that the partner part of how?
It's certainly the partner who plays an important role there in the implementation. But and you are true, you are correct in that sense that you see a shift, and I call it the 80-20 rule. In the past, you had 80% of the work in an implementation project was configuration, development, technical work.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the project, you had a system, and only then the people can see what is the outcome of that project and can start working with it. And now with Cloud ERP and sticking to best practices, the good thing is that 80% should be more or less invested in change management and 20% only in the technical work. Because also when you do that change, indeed, you have to make sure that the users, from the beginning, you take them with you. And with the best practices out of the box, you can do so. They can start working with the system from the beginning. So your training starts already and the user adoption starts already in the beginning of your project. And then the second thing, which is key for me, is also top management should support that change management. And there should be a clear communication like, why are we doing it? What is the biggest value we are realizing if we go back to the standard?
Yeah.
And that communication and top management support is really important.
Okay. I think that does the trick about customizations. Let's talk about the future. Because you already said the next 10 years of my career, that's one of the most exciting times. Why?
I think so.
You think so? Yeah.
I mean, I was also skeptical in the beginning about AI and how can it change. But if I see now what is happening, it's really a wave that is coming and that you cannot avoid. And I think AI is not, again, it's not just a technological thing next or on top of your ERP. AI will be completely embedded in your business processes, in your ERP system. And that's what SAP, what we're also doing now. And the big shift will come, according to me, from the new user interface. The way you interact with the system will be completely driven by artificial intelligence. And you will go from, if you now work with an ERP system, we call it insight to action. You get a report or you get an alert and you do something in the system as a user. We will move, I think, to a world where an AI agent in the back will help you doing this kind of business. That AI agent will reason and even act. And what we predict is, and it's already there, is that you will have 30 to 40% more efficiency in your business processes if you can embed that AI part.
Okay, but in practice, I'm a visual guy, so what changes for me as an end user? Do I have a kind of chat client and I'm just chatting all day?
I will give you an example. So suppose you get an email from a customer, not happy customer, with a dispute case where he's saying, okay, I ordered something, you delivered, I got an invoice, but your invoice was not correct with what delivered. There was missing one item, but I still have to pay for that one item that was not delivered. Supposing now, with the ERP we know now, it takes some time to take action, find out if it's true, then sending back, deciding on what we are going to do to solve the problem. With AI, indeed, the email comes in, the AI agent in the back, he will read and interpret the mail. He will look in the back automatically, he will match the sales order with the delivery order to see if, okay, he bought something, but it was in the sales order, but not on the delivery note. And then he will propose to you, and indeed it's like a chat, we call it a Joule, where the AI agent will ask you, okay, I found this, there is indeed a discrepancy between the delivery and the sales order. What can we do? We can send a credit note, we can send a new invoice, or we can send maybe the additional material back to the customer. What do you want to do? And then as a user only, I say, okay, I take option send the credit note, for example. And automatically, again, the AI agent will make the credit note, will make even the email credit note included and send back to. So that's that's really the efficiency step that we will making. It will not replace completely, but users will really work together with those AI agents in a kind of chat, which is then called Joule within SAP.
Okay, so you're more or less not working in the system, searching for things, but just actually confirming actions
Yes.
that an AI agents want you to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite exciting. But now I'm a small company. Let's say, okay, that sounds really great. But I don't have a lot of IT resources. Basically, I have one person and he's doing it next to other jobs, basically. I have partners like Amista that help me, but they send for everything a bill. So how do I have to do that? I mean, in the old days, what you're saying, I install the system. Sometimes I have to do an upgrade. Sometimes I want to have some extensibility, and that was overseeable. But now I have to do a lot of things. I don't have the resources.
Now, that's exactly the reason why you should move to a cloud system, because within that cloud system, we will make sure that AI is already embedded in those business processes in your core ERP solution. So from a work perspective, it's coming out of the box. So we are now adopting the best practices that we have. Like we have 800 best practices from A to Z that we have pre-configured that are available in the system. We are now, in most of those best practices, we are putting AI in. So it comes out of the box. And again, you can only do that when you move to the cloud. So you will get behind if you stay on-premise. So for me, that's the main reason also why a company, and certainly also a small company, should go to the cloud.
Okay, but those functionalities come available. Can I do that myself, or do I need a lot of IT knowledge for that, or do I need a partner for that? Or how does
I mean, you always need support of a partner to train you and to see, okay, what's available, give advice, and so on. But they are there, just like we have now out-of-the-box best practices. We will have out-of-the-box best practices with AI embedded.
Okay. Yeah, but will AI also guide me how to use it?
Yes, yeah, certainly.
Okay,
yes.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. So basically, it's never ending. It's evolving continuously in the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do you think that are exciting times?
Because I think this is one of the biggest innovations I think that I will see in the 25 years or the 35 years that I will work. I'm really convinced that this will have one of the biggest impacts. And like I said, if you don't follow as a company, I think you get behind. So my advice would be don't wait to go that way.
Do you have anything to add, Johan? Something we did not cover you want to mention?
No, I think we covered like most of the things that I want to cover, yes.
So I think this is a good ending. Why you should move to the cloud, that's clear, what the role of AI is. I think it's also important to keep in mind that you should have a change mindset. Yeah. And that's also, it's not a one-time investment anymore, IT, that it keeps evolving and it really can change your business, making more efficient, but also maybe thinking about it, I have one other question. Do you think that you can gain competitive advantage by implementing AI, standard AI from SAP?
Yes.
How?
I think it will be like the first movers, they will take certainly advantage. So if you wait, you get behind. So it's a matter of at least stay pair with your peers and not getting behind. So that's and then again, you can tweak. Of course, we have also in the platform, you can tweak and make it specific to your company also. So also on the business technology platform, you can tweak a little bit the AI where you then again can differentiate maybe certain processes by using AI.
Okay. Thank you, Johan, for sharing your wisdom and your experience in your future on your vision on the future. I think that's very, very helpful. It was for me. It was valuable. I hope also to our listeners, and I hope it also gives you some direction if you are considering a new ERP or changing to the cloud, but you still have some reservations. Thank you for listening, and do not forget to subscribe to our podcast. Bye.